Hello and welcome to episode 218 of the Casual Try Hard podcast. I'm Brian,
And I'm James.
and Wizards has taken mercy upon us and is going to make it so people don't have to draft Phyrexia All Will Be One anymore. They're giving us a new set on Arena, Shadows over Innistrad Remastered.
Yeah, I think we alluded to it once or twice, but we've got a lot more details and all the cards, and we're going to break it down. Break it down.
Sorry, stop. Hammer time. So if you would reach out to us on social media, say hi, all that stuff, all those links are in the description below. Come say hi, come interact.
Yeah, check us out. We're fun.
Yeah.
You
just got MC hammered.
That's right. If you're looking to support the show, there's two ways you can do it. The first is our TCG player affiliate link, tcg.CasualTryHardMTG.com. Plug that address into your web browser there and head on over to TCG Player. As long as you use that link, anything you purchase will help support the show. And we would appreciate that because we have all sorts of show-related expenses that we would like to cover. So if you're gonna buy Magic product, that's a free way for you to support the show. We would appreciate it. If you want to support us more directly by throwing money at us, you can do so at patreon.com/CasualTryHardMTG. You can chip a couple bucks in if you like the content we make and you want us to keep doing more of it, or whatever. If you just don't like your money, I guess that works too. Patrons got access to our show notes, so you get a sneak peek of what the upcoming show is going to be about. Patrons also get access to our pre-show, where you get about another hour worth of content out of us. Usually not super Magic related. Usually it's just me and Brian hanging out. We don't get to see each other nearly as often as we used to, and this is our chance to catch up every week. So we record it so that you guys can kind of come along for the ride. It's also when we make sure all our equipment is working, which hasn't been working a lot lately. So that content is very raw. So there was a lot of waiting around for Brian's audio to show up on my screen. So, but you do get another hour out of us, and patrons also get put on my mailing list for when I have givebacks to do. Roughly every other month, I send little tokens of our appreciation out to our patrons, and I don't know, seem to go over pretty well. They're neat little things. It's always a surprise. So if you're interested in any of that, or like I said, you just want to support the show, it's patreon.com/CasualTryHardMTG. And then we also have our YouTube channel. Make sure you check our YouTube channel out, CasualTryHardMTG on YouTube, where Brian has limited content coming out about 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I'd imagine we're going to get some Shadows over Innistrad coming up pretty soon.
Yeah, I'm hoping maybe do one more Phyrexia All Will Be One draft to get us through this week, and then next week we'll probably start the Shadows over Innistrad content.
Nice. So if you're looking for some of that, you can check that out on our YouTube channel. You can also watch a video version of this podcast over on YouTube, where you get to look at our smiling faces while we speak at you. It's like a Pikachu, but with speaking.
Pika.
Yeah. And you get Tomfoolery Tuesdays over there also, where I play whatever I feel like playing, some sort of constructed something or other. This week, it'll be in the future right now, but when you guys listen to this, it'll be in the past. So I played Juggernauts in Historic. So head on over there and check that out.
How did it go?
50-50.
Okay, not bad.
Yep. I didn't stick to any particular list. I kind of drew inspiration from a couple different ones. The arena lists that I saw, for some reason, none of them were playing Faithless Looting. And I thought that was a huge mistake.
Yes. If that card is legal, you should play it.
Yeah. So that was the first thing I did, was add 4 Faithless Looting.
Figure it out from there.
Yep, figure it out from there.
Those are the best decks. 4 Faithless Looting, figure it out from there.
That's right. So if you wanna see how I did, head on over to our YouTube channel, check it out. Drop us a comment or a like or a subscribe or any of those things that content creators crave.
Yeah. the caress of a woman. I mean, yeah,
she's
contact creator's grave.
She's not home yet.
Okay.
I think she said she was stopping at Target on the way home, so
she may never come back.
Maybe not.
She's at Target now.
Yep.
Forever. All right, so we are going to do the Shadows over Innistrad remastered. We're gonna, like I said, talk about what's gonna come to Arena and impact primarily Explorer.
Explorer, yeah.
Getting us closer to going from being Pioneer Junior to just effectively Pioneer.
Yeah, like 99% of Pioneer.
It's kind of like as people put out, like Legacy on Magic Online.
Yeah.
Where Legacy and Vintage on Magic Online, not all of the cards that are from Magic are on Magic Online.
Right.
But the ones that matter are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they do a pretty good job of trying to keep stuff that matters on there.
Yeah, random 2/2 for 2, not on there.
Yeah.
But they have Snapcaster Mage, which used to matter.
Used to matter. Maybe will matter for Arena.
Maybe. So this is getting us closer and giving us a handful of cards that either currently see or could see some play in
Pioneer or Explorer.
In Pioneer onto into Explorer, getting us that much closer to being real enough Pioneer.
Mm-hmm.
So they've done a few things. Well, they're doing something interesting with this set, which is in an attempt to keep the draft format fresh. Well, I guess first, boy, I'm killing it today. I guess first we should say what Shadows over Innistrad Remastered is. What is this set exactly?
So kind of like how they did Kaladesh and what was the other? Amonkhet.
Oh yeah.
They kind of squished those blocks down into one set to get them mostly on Arena. That's basically what this is. So Shadows over Innistrad Remastered is kind of Shadows over Innistrad and Eldritch Moon squished together to form, I guess it's supposed to be like a cohesive draft environment or like a curated draft environment, a Shadows over Innistrad cube, something along those lines. To do two things. Number one, give us something else to draft so maybe Wizards can make some money off of it. And also get some more cards onto Arena. I think that's probably the number one criticism. I don't know if criticism's the right word, but complaint about Arena is that it doesn't have enough cards on it because people want to play all sorts of other stuff on Arena because it's easier to look at than Magic Online.
Yeah, the interface is just so much better.
Yeah. So this is getting us closer.
So this is 302 cards, including 15 basics, which why? But okay. 302 cards.
Does that include the bonus sheets? Or is that plus the bonus sheets? We didn't talk about the bonus sheets. Hey, there's bonus sheets.
Working on it now. The bonus sheet will feature so there's 72 additional cards.
Okay, so that's without the bonus sheets.
That's without the bonus sheet.
So kind of like we had with Brothers War and Strixhaven, the packs for Shadows over Innistrad Remastered, both the ones you buy in the store and the draft packs will have a bonus slot. I guess technically it's not a bonus slot because it replaces a card from your pack. But it'll be a card not in the base set. There's 4 bonus sheets, I guess, that they're going to rotate through. Like every week, there'll be a different bonus sheet for 4 weeks. And did we want to talk about some of what's on the bonus sheets, or
we can talk about some of the heavy hitters?
Okay. There are, so like I said, there's 4 bonus sheets. One is called Creature Type Terror. One is called Fatal Flashback. One is Morbid and Macabre. And one is Abominable All Stars.
Hey there, you're an all-star. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. So the ones that really matter, right? Is Daddy's home, Gristle Dad.
Gristle Dad, yeah.
Which he was kind of on Arena anyway, right? Wasn't he like something you could like? Oh, what is it called?
He was in Momir.
Momir, yes, you could Momir into it.
Yeah.
And then Snapcaster Mage.
Yeah, Lingering Souls too. That might be past Lingering Souls' prime, but yeah. Lingering Souls is a deceivingly powerful card.
Past in Flames?
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Not that we have any rituals, but
yeah. We have Yawgmoth. Does Young Wolf do anything?
It could. Like, it's one of the cards that goes in that deck. I was looking to see if there are any other what's it called? Any other undying creatures, but I don't think there are.
Yeah. Huntmaster.
Mm-hmm. Simpler Time.
Yeah. Back when that
For
card
those
was
of you
playable.
who don't know, this was one of the cards that was like a Jund All-Star. It's a 2/2 that makes a 2/2.
Mm-hmm.
And then it transforms with the old werewolf mechanic.
Right.
Into a 4/4 that like domes something based on the number of wolves you have or something.
Deals 2 damage to target opponent and 2 damage to one target that player controls.
Okay. And when it transforms back, you get another 2/2.
Yep.
So it's like this slow value engine. We don't do slow value engines in 2023.
Nope.
There's also Invisible Stalker.
Yep.
Who wears pants very well.
Very well. It's like the ultimate bogle because it's unblockable.
Yeah, so it what was I gonna say? It has when we have all that glitters and ethereal armor on Arena already.
Mm-hmm.
He's ready. He's ready for his pants. Let's go.
Ready to go. Why is Evolving Wilds on a bonus sheet?
I don't know. Like, I saw it and I was like, I don't understand why this is here.
Yeah, it's very strange.
And same with like Faithful. I can see like Faithless looting like impacting the draft environment.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, hopefully it'll be not a weird art also, so that we don't have to play with that weird art.
This is true. This is true. The old border DAC art is pretty good.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't know if that's the art they're going to use. I just hopefully it won't be the Strixhaven art.
Oh, I guess they are all the newest version. Yeah. You would think that they would put the exact version they were going to put on Arena.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh.
This list isn't from Wizards. It's from.
Oh no, I'm on the Motherships list.
Oh, are you? Okay.
Yeah. I'm on magic.wizards.com, but at the bottom it says, no, card images displayed in the list may be versions not present in this product.
Yeah, that's weird.
This list is not a card for card product display, but rather representative of all the cards you'll find.
That's strange.
You know what cards you're putting in. You have the assets. Just put them on this.
Right.
It doesn't seem like it should be that hard, but here we are.
Here we are. We also get the Innistrad Lords. So Diagraph Captain, Drogskull Captain, Stormkirk Captain. So the Vampire Spirit Zombie Lords. I don't know. I guess I don't know if that matters or not, but
like since they're not like is like blue is Bant Spirits good enough for historic? Because you get in the main set, you get Avacyn's Pilgrim.
Mhm.
So like you could like Pilgrim, have like Pilgrim and Collected Company,
Yeah.
and then maybe some other mana dork and have like uh enough ramp to make like Cocoing into a Spell Queller and a Drug Skull Captain like good enough.
Mhm.
So like it could matter. I don't know if the vampire one does.
The vampire one, yeah, I don't. I mean, vampires is like kind of playable already, but I think it's
Yeah.
kind of playable because it's mono black.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you go into a different color, I don't know how playable it is.
Agreed. But I don't play historic very often.
Yeah.
Which apparently no one does, but that's neither here nor there.
I don't know. I play it once in a while, but
Uh,
I played
so I can't.
Juggernauts in historic this week.
You did.
I did.
You did. So that's something. Where so Saffron Olive, I think, tweeted this out. I don't know where I can find. Here it is. They have the historic decks. User submitted historic decks on uh on MTG Goldfish
Hmm.
in 6-month chunks.
Yeah.
So when historic started, February 2020, there were 256 decks posted.
Okay.
Then August, that next 6-month period, there were 3,000 decks. Then by February 2021, that next 6-month period, 1,400. August 21, 960.
Mm.
February 2020, 450. August 2022, 243. February 2023, 246. So people don't really play. At least the people on Goldfish are not uploading decks.
Right. And like that's, I mean, I guess it's kind of a representation of what's going on, but it also does not tell the whole story because
True.
like you have to put a deck up there to for it to count. And how often do you upload decks to Goldfish?
This is true, but you would think they have a big enough user base that if people were interested, this is like perhaps a reasonable. I don't know how many decks get uploaded each month.
Yeah.
And then like they have the melee data as well, where like the number of games has fallen off a cliff.
Hmm.
But anyway, this is not the time to be dunking on historic and wizards choices.
Right.
This is time to be talking about new cards or new to arena cards.
New to arena cards.
So we're not going to go through all of the cards coming to arena
Oh God, no! Do you know how long it would take us to go through 300 cards?
uh, forever.
Yeah.
Forever. But instead, we kind of picked out the ones that are new to arena and
That might matter.
that might matter.
Yep.
And I think we like missed one, but that's all right. I can add it. So yeah, we're gonna just kind of work down this list. James made it, and then I added some stuff. So you kind of have both of our thoughts on this.
Mm-hmm.
So first up, one that I added, Blessed Alliance.
Yeah.
So
I guess I wasn't aware like this still sees play.
I
I
don't
know it
know if
did
it
for a
still
little
sees
while.
play. It's one of those cards that like can exist.
Yeah.
I don't know if it does, but it is 1 and a white for an instant with Escalate 2, so you can pay. Escalate is effectively just Kicker
Mm-hmm.
that they renamed for
Because
reasons.
yeah, and every time you escalate it, you get to pick an additional mode.
Yeah, so target player can gain 4 life, untap 2 target creatures, or target opponent sacrifices an attacking creature.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times this was used by control decks. I don't know if it's still like viable, but it was just something I was like, oh, that has been played before
Mm-hmm.
and could be played again.
Yep.
But I would not go cracking these packs for that card.
No.
And then we have a card that was surely already on Arena, right? I couldn't have been wrong. So what is this one?
Griff's Boon is
Yes.
kind of a key piece of the Auras decks. It's a single white mana for an Aura. Enchanted creature gets +1/+0 and has flying, and then you can pay 3 and a white to return it from your graveyard to the battlefield, attached to a creature as a sorcery.
So James has been playing black-white auras and has been missing this card.
I have been. No longer.
This will be good for him.
Yep.
Yeah, and I a couple of weeks ago was like, oh yeah, it's gotta be on Arena. It was not on Arena.
Definitely not. Does Bygone Bishop still see any play? I know that did for a while, like in some of the company decks.
Don't think. It is a spirit, but like spirits have gotten better spirits since it used to see play.
Okay.
So I don't think it does anymore, unfortunately. There's gonna be a lot of like, this card was good.
Yeah.
I don't know if it is anymore.
And then 2022 happened.
Yeah. Or 2020, really.
2020,
right?
Yeah.
Because this set's like 6 years old at this point.
Oh God, really?
It feels like it should be 6 years old.
I feel like I'm getting old.
Shadows over oh my God. Shadows over Innistrad was released April 8th, 2016.
7 years old.
7 years old.
Yep.
So a lot has changed.
Yeah.
We enter the YOLO phase of Magic card design.
I got a quick aside. Did you see PK's video today?
No, what was it?
I must have missed this whole thing. Speaking about YOLOs. I guess at MagicCon Philly, there was an entrance to the cosplay event that was a guy dressed as a box of Magic 30.
Oh,
in a garbage can.
The thumbnail. Yeah, I did see the thumbnail. Yeah.
And he was asked to leave.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Kyle.
I guess it was old news. I had not heard that before.
Of it either.
So.
Oh, now someone can do like Magic 30 in a dump. They can just surround themselves by even more garbage.
Yeah.
I had not seen.
Yeah.
I had seen the thumbnail, but I hadn't like clicked on it. So
it was funny. You should take a look.
Next up, we have Selfless Spirit.
Yeah, this is a big one for spirits.
Yeah, 1 of the white, flying 2/1. You can sacrifice it, and creatures you control gain indestructible until end of turn. It's like you can bring it in against like control as like your sweeper protection.
It also pairs kind of well with Spell Queller, because the thing that you quell, the spell that you quell, you can like keep locked up through a removal spell with Selfless Spirit.
Yeah, good point. So like it's usually like a 1 or a 2 of and like blue-white spirits in the main deck, and then they will have a like 1 or 2 in the sideboard.
Yep.
Speaking of hammer time.
Yeah. We got a Sigarda's Aid. It's a single white mana for an enchantment. You can cast aura and equipment spells as though they had flash, and whenever an equipment enters the battlefield under your control, you get to attach it to a creature you control. So you cast it at instant speed and snap it onto something. Again, this is relevant because of Hammer.
Yeah, Colossal Hammer with its 10 equip cost or whatever.
Yep.
So that's not really a Pioneer deck, but I think something that we have to kind of like be cognizant of is there are a lot more people than made the Pro Tour, this last Pro Tour, playing on Magic Arena.
Yeah.
And we've definitely seen like Croakies with his like, I've never played Magic before. What is this game? I'm just gonna like ram stuff together attitude.
Yeah.
Had like made some like really powerful decks.
Mm-hmm.
Like that kind of didn't follow like traditional Magic building thing, building like
conventions.
Norms. Yeah, conventions. There you go. Thank you.
You're welcome. That's why I'm here.
And so
that's why I make a good co-host.
You're here for more than that.
My pre-face.
Yeah, it's one of us has to be eye candy, but Sigarda's Aid is a card that, like, if enough people are starting messing with it on Arena,
yeah,
something might fall out. People won't be like, "Oh, Sigarda's Aid and Hammer. Like, what can I put together?"
Well, I mean, it also seems like we've had this might be a card to look out for in the future, not just for what somebody can put together, but we've had a lot of really weird equipments lately. Like if you think back through like the 4 Mirrodin equipments that like make a token and snap equip and the reconfigure stuff from Kamigawa, it seems like they're leaning heavier into that design space lately. So it wouldn't surprise me if we got something else that was, a wild like 8 equip costs, win the game.
Yeah, some other like weird like hammer variant.
Or a way to tutor or something.
Yeah. And like did we get Open the Armory?
I don't believe we did.
We did not. I just went and checked.
Yeah.
Like speaking of tutors, Open the Armory.
Nope.
But yeah, like it's something that like one, it can like scale and get better over time. And two, we've talked about it before, like the machine, right? Like all the thousands of millions of people playing games,
right?
Like there are more. I think there are more people playing. There are more games played on Arena than there probably have ever been on like Magic Online.
I would agree with that.
Right, so like something's gonna fall out of that more so than waiting for like professional Magic to have an event that they want to try to break it for when there aren't that many pioneer events.
Right.
So, this might also be that you like might have a deck where you're like, oh, I think this is there, and when they get this other card, I can really test it, and you just have to kind of wait.
Yeah.
But in the back of your mind, you're like looking out for every equipment, like you said, or every weirdo way to tutor for an artifact.
Yeah. The other thing is that your incentives are different on Arena than Magic Online or in paper also. Because of the ladder, because of your, daily goals, because of, all of the people streaming Arena, nobody's streaming anything else anymore. You're incentivized to do like big splashy things and play quick games, and that's the kind of card that leans itself towards that.
Yeah, very true. Now to switch gears into a card that kind of plays slow games.
Slows the game down to a crawl.
Way down. Thalia, Heretic Cathar. So affectionately known as Big Thalia.
Yep.
2 and a white for a 3/2 with first strike. And creatures and non-basic lands your opponent's control enter the battlefield tapped. So basically, it makes your opponent play like a turn behind. Now, a 3/2 first striking body for 3 used to be super impressive.
Yeah, it is no longer.
Yeah, I feel like there's like this just like eats a stomp. Now it does like effectively beat a Bone Crusher Giant in combat, but it eats a stomp, and there's a lot of like even like cards that aren't all that good, right? Like Bloated Contaminator is a 3-mana 4/4.
Right. Well, so's green. What was that card you mentioned in the pre-show? Miguls or whatever.
Oh, Migloss.
Yeah.
Is a 3-mana like 4/4. What's the other one I was thinking of? Old Growth Troll.
Yep.
Also a big.
Yep. Gruul Spellbreaker.
Gruul Spellbreaker. Warm in my heart. That one.
Questy Boy.
Questy Boy is 4 mana, but yes.
Oh yeah, that's true. Sorry.
No, but like this body, her body's not as impressive as it used to be.
Oh, that's not very
And
nice to say about her.
I'm not trying to body shame her. In the vernacular, God, what is that guy's name on TikTok? She can get it, but compared to the power creep, her stats are not as impressive as they once were. Is that better?
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. And white in 2016, white's 3-drops
Yeah,
weren't looking that hot.
right.
It seems like all Wizards has done in the last like 3 years is just print pushed white 3-drops to the
Yeah,
point where like you can't play all of them.
right. Well, it seems
So
like they
like,
all go wide too, and like Thalia doesn't really go wide.
or they're disruptive, right? Like what
Yeah.
anointed peacekeeper,
Oh yeah, Elite
um,
Spellbinder.
elite spellbinder,
Yep.
and then you have brutal
Brutal
cathar,
Cathar.
skyclave apparition,
Yep.
and was it Aurelia? That's not the name. The one white that makes a 1/1 when you attack.
Edelin.
Adeline, yeah.
Yep.
Like, so you have like, do you want a disruptive thing? Do you want a removal spell? Do you want to go wide?
Yeah.
And like, there's not enough spots for Thalia, I think, anymore.
Probably not.
Right? Pour one out due to power creep.
Sorry.
That's all right.
Just not impressive anymore.
I had a good run. So now to blue.
Yeah, there's one card that I thought was odd that they didn't include.
Which was?
Do you have a guess?
What blue card is missing? I am looking and I don't remember.
Okay. It's a deck that I played for a while. We get Advanced Stitchwing, which is 3 blue for a 3/4 flyer, and you can pay 2 and a blue and discard 2 cards to return it from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped.
Oh, but the one that discards 1 card.
And is 2 mana.
Yeah, 1 and a blue, discard a card.
Yeah, that's not here. I forget what it was called. It was something Stitchwing, but
yeah, that is weird. Like, that feels like it should definitely like be in the thing.
Mm-hmm.
That card was great.
Yeah, I played a lot of it.
Stitchwing Scob.
Yeah, that's what it was. Stitchwing Scob. And it is missing unless it's on one of these sheets over here.
I didn't see it because I think they're all supposed to be old cards.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
No, it's not there. But yeah, that is weird. Stitchwing Scob was my boy.
Yep.
I think I have some foils of that because.
Mm-hmm.
And they gave us Wharf Infiltrator. No one played that card. The card was trash. All right.
Anyways,
so we get Thing in the Ice.
Yeah. I don't know how I missed that.
Oh, it's cleared out at the bottom after the lands because whoever designed this was a monkey.
Yeah, I didn't go down that far. That's why I missed it.
Yeah, it's after the lands. It makes no sense. But Thing in the Ice, which is kind of the like go-to like blue-red spell slinger, I'm not gonna die and then win the game card.
Right.
This card is probably only as good as like Arclight Phoenix is.
Mm-hmm. Or the new Thing in the Ice, the red one.
Oh, the dragon.
Yeah, dragon egg or whatever it is.
Yeah. But Thing in the Ice might make Phoenix something that you see more on Arena.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a deck that people love. Like the person that loves that playstyle deck, like if it's available, is not going to play anything else.
Yes, they are going to play that. Christos will be playing this deck.
Yep.
Right. Already has the Arclight Phoenixes.
Mm-hmm.
Has just needed a 2-drop to block and then win the game with.
Yep.
And this is it. So this will give you gives gives that deck a different dimension than it's had on Arena.
Mm-hmm.
Because it gives them a 2-mana blocker that is legitimately like a problem for the aggro decks.
Yeah.
And gives them a way like see when it flips into return all non-horror creatures to their owner's hand.
Mm-hmm.
And it becomes a 7/8. Like if mono green goes off, you just put them all back in their hand. Right? Like they put all these creatures out and you're just like, put them all back.
Yep.
And
the ultimate tempo play.
Exactly. I'm going to cast spells I wanted to cast anyway, and then you're going to put all your creatures in the trash can.
Yep.
Because you have to discard them all now. And I will kill your fill in the blank planeswalker. Yay, we did it. And then not that it has oh gosh, what's it called? Support currently, but pour over the pages.
Yeah.
3 blue, draw 3 cards, then untap 2 lands. Draw 3 cards, untap up to 2 lands, then discard. This is like the way Lotus Field gets through its deck. And if
for
you have
when we
2
eventually get the rest of the pieces.
Yeah, and when you have 2 Lotus Fields,
it's just free.
It generates mana.
Yeah.
So this is a card that will see play if Wizards is willing to put Lotus Field on Arena.
Which, I mean, if they're trying to make it an analog to Pioneer, I'm sure they will at some point.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like Lotus Field was that, like, far out of... Wait, no, Lotus Field is on Arena. We're missing Hidden Strings.
Well, yeah, I meant the deck, not the card.
Yes.
Because the deck doesn't really function without Hidden Strings.
It does not.
Yeah.
But, no, I was like, you're right. Like, no, I was thinking, like, is Lotus Field on Arena?
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, it is. It is. That stupid Thurn Proctor deck.
Yep. Yeah, that deck.
I hate that deck so much.
Yep.
I play a deck that has a bunch of enter the battlefield abilities, and it's like, oh, my game plan also wrecks you. Like, dang it. You're pre-boarded with dumb stuff. Amazing. Incidental dumb stuff, and you get me.
Seems like all your decks are prone to incidental hate.
Even just playing a bunch of creatures, it's like, no. I have Elish Norn in the deck now. Elementals has got has made Elish Norn an honorary elemental, and it was either that or Urok. And Urok might have had to have an extra color, and like Elish Norn pre-boards you against like so many decks.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You just play Elish Norn, and you're like, oh, this stupid Fires of Invention deck can never get this card off the battlefield unless they wrath the board. Right. Amazing.
Perfect.
Oh, Leyline Binding? Not today, sucker. Not anymore. You get Leyline Binding. Oh, you're gonna sack your Leyline Binding for an Agent of Treachery? Sick 2/3, bro.
Yep.
But yeah, so poor if they give us Hidden Strings, which like Hidden Strings could just be like a stupid card that shows up in like any kind of stupid like expansion product.
A Jumpstart, an Alchemy, whatever. Could be anywhere.
Like it's not. It doesn't need to be hardly anything. It's not like it needs anything. To like retrace, is it retrace or cipher? Is a weird mechanic, but like whatever.
Yeah.
All right, now we get to the black.
Yeah, we get Collective Brutality as our first black card. 1 and a black for a sorcery, and it also has Escalate like Blessed Alliance, except this time instead of 2 mana, you're discarding a card. So you get 1 mode for free, and then every additional mode you discard a card. The first mode is target opponent reveals their hand. You choose an instant or sorcery card, and they discard it. The second is target creature gets -2/-2 till end of turn. And the third mode is target opponent loses 2 life, and you gain 2 life.
Yeah. So like it kind of has like clear the way like both in their hand and in uh and on the battlefield.
Yeah.
And you can use it to like set up reanimation.
Yeah, so like it sees play in a few different ways. The first is just a discard enabler, like you mentioned. It would kind of slot in place of, maybe not in place of, but like the lightning axe.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the second is that it's kind of just a brick wall for mono red. You pitch a couple cards and undo a bolt, kill one of their things, and make them discard another bolt. It's
Yeah, and then they're just like,
everything that
oh.
you want to do.
And it's like cheap enough that like you can snag, like it's not embarrassing to just like pay 2 mana sorcery spirit, kill a thing, even if you're not discarding cards.
Right.
Or like you're like, oh man, I'm a combo deck and I want to have a card that is like can kill a hate piece that's on the board, or
Clear
take
out a
one out of,
discard spell.
or be a discard spell, or like be both.
Yep.
Right? Like where the card is best is like you said, being a discard outlet and then protecting that thing you discarded.
Yep.
Right? Like I'm gonna discard my Atraxa, kill something that could like eat the Atraxa out of the graveyard, and then also get your counter spell out of your hand.
Mm-hmm.
All it's like, oh, I did everything I could have ever possibly wanted.
Right.
So
And
yeah,
pitch some cards that you didn't need to do it.
Yeah. She's still playable. She doesn't see a lot of play, but
yeah, Lily the Last Hope.
Yeah,
I don't know how we didn't have this on Arena already, but 1 and a black, 3 loyalty, up to +1, up to 1 target creature gets -2/-1 until your next turn, so all the way through the turn cycle. -2, mill 2 cards, and then you can return a creature from your graveyard to your hand, and -7, win the game.
Basically.
Yep.
I think I've beaten a Lily alt once.
I don't think I've ever beat a Lily alt.
Uh,
You get an emblem with at the beginning of your end step, create X 2/2 zombie creature tokens, where X is 2 plus the number of zombies you control.
So Lily's really good when there are small creatures.
Mm-hmm. Just picks them off as a +1.
Yeah. Now the problem, I think the modern problem with Lily is like it used to just be a beating against like mono white, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like now all the mono white creatures get to get bigger.
Yeah.
Which makes it a little rough. And like mono green, but by the time your Lily comes down, the elves have done enough.
Yeah.
That you're like, oh, I can 3 mana kill this elf. And it's like, yeah, I have a 5/6. Like you do. I acknowledge your 5/6, but I did kill your elf.
Cool story.
Yeah. Cool story. Thanks for killing my guy.
Yep.
And then we have the zombie boys.
Yeah, a pair of zombie cards we get. The first is Diregraph Colossus, 2 and a black for a 2/2. It enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter for each zombie in your graveyard, and whenever you cast a zombie, you make a 2/2 zombie.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other one is Relentless Dead, a black for a 2/2 with Menace. When Relentless Dead dies, you can pay a black. If you do, put it back in your hand. And when it dies, you may pay X. If you do, return another target zombie creature with mana value X from your graveyard to the battlefield.
So, like, zombies aren't like a tier tribe right now.
Right.
But, like, they're one of those things that probably just needs, like, one more piece.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Between Crypt Breaker, which you already had, and Champion of the Perished.
Yep.
And now Relentless Dead, and to a lesser extent, Diregraph Colossus. And then you can even go a little bit further, Dark Salvation.
Oh, yeah, Dark Salvation, too.
XX black, you make X zombies, or target player makes X zombies, you.
Yeah.
And then one target creature gets -X for each zombie that player controls. So you can just like you have a zombie base removal spell. So it's just like there's probably like maybe one piece missing to kind of like put it over the top.
Yeah.
Some other form of card advantage or something. And like these are the pieces that kind of have it like right at the edge.
Mm-hmm.
So again, another one to keep an eye on. And like if there's like, I don't know, some weird Phyrexian zombie.
Yeah, who knows?
Um
Are zombies going, or are Phyrexians going to Innistrad? Probably,
I
right?
don't maybe. It
They're
seems like
going
they would.
everywhere. Yeah. Maybe
Yeah.
they're scared of Emrakul.
Yeah, did you hear what happened to Shieldred?
No, it happened to Shieldred.
Apparently Johnny wasn't having it and chopped her head off.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. That's
Hmm.
came across Twitter. I was not seeking it out, but I got lured.
I thought Johnny was on Team Shieldred.
Johnny's on Team Elishnorn.
Oh, and
So the
Elishnorn had a
story
problem
was
with Shieldred.
that a Johnny was like, "Yeah, Shieldred, you're in it for power. It should all be about unity. There's no room for those who don't want unity." Head chop.
Gotcha.
Yeah, there you
No I in team, huh?
go. No Shieldred in team, correct.
Yeah. Do you know that there is?
An I in the A, yeah.
Yeah, it's in the a-hole.
There we go. I hadn't heard that before. That's pretty good.
Yep.
We have Bedlam Reveler, which was like it was kind of the modern Murktide Regent before Murktide Regent.
Yeah.
So
I don't know that does enough now, but
yeah, it's 6 red for a 3/4, and the spell costs 1 less to cast for each instant and sorcery in your graveyard. It has prowess, and when it enters the battlefield, discard your hand and then draw 3 cards.
yeah. So it's a way for cheap, like spell-based decks to refill.
I mean, and now, like, isn't this just like the first line of text is just Tolarian Terror?
Yeah.
Which is a common.
Right.
And this was like an expensive rare for a while.
Yeah, but Tolarian Terror doesn't refill your hand.
It doesn't. It doesn't. But like, you could definitely see a deck where if you didn't want a Phoenix, you just cantrip and cheap stuff, and then you just play 4 Tolarian Terrors, 4 Bedlam Revelers.
Yep.
And that's how you win the game. You're just like, play with fire, opt, consider, and then you just like, here you go.
Yeah.
Here's a couple cheap things that are
how
big.
close are we to like mono red prowess?
We have Swift Spear.
Yeah. Soul Scar.
Swift Spear, Soul Scar, Runaway Steamkin. This now. Yeah, like it might be there.
Yeah.
I mean, and like you could like put in some Burgies and just like basically cast all your cantrips for free.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if that's a playable deck or not, but
I mean, it's a style of deck that people play.
Yeah.
Right? Like just like, there are people that just want to play mono red and they don't want to play like burn. They want to do something a little different, and like that's a little different. Yeah, but probably.
Oh, and we're gonna have Ragavan.
At least in Historic, yeah. So you could Monkey Man hard. And I think like mono red prowess is kind of a thing in Historic.
Yeah.
With or blue red prowess. But you can probably get with making it mono red. Speaking of cards that go well in blue red, Collective Defiance.
Yeah, this was a legacy playable card, right?
Briefly.
Yeah.
It did see play in Pioneer until Expressive Iteration got banned.
Okay.
So it's 1 red for a sorcery with Escalate 1. Target player discards all the cards in their hand and then draws that many cards. Collective Defiance deals 4 damage to target creature. Collective Defiance deals 3 damage to target
opponent or planeswalker.
Sorry.
That's all right.
Could not read the bottom there.
Yep.
I should probably increase the size of my window, but no, I am not that old.
Refuse to.
He says as he zooms in. There we go. There we go. Look at that. Now I got to scroll down further. So this card goes very well with Narset.
Oh, yeah.
So that was that was the Pioneer deck for a bit.
Okay.
Was when you had Expressive Iteration, you were Narset Collective Defiancing people.
Mm-hmm.
So you could Narset and then like the following turn be like, all right, discard like 4 cards out of your hand, you draw 1.
Yeah.
And like kill a creature.
Yeah, it
I
seems
stabilized.
pretty backbreaking.
Yeah. I just kind of mind twisted you.
Yeah.
And I killed your creature.
Yep.
I hope you have enjoyed this interaction. I know I have. So
welcome to
that's
this
why I had
Narset
it there.
talk.
Like that is another card that will see some play.
Mm-hmm.
And like, not if, when they print a like, oh, this is a harmless like blue or red draw spell that ends up breaking for reformats. This card will be great for those few months
till it's banned.
Is Expressive Iteration still legal in Historic?
I think so.
So
that's something you can do.
Yeah. It is legal in Historic because Historic is the place where no bannings make sense. But
right.
Yeah. Banned in Legacy, Pioneer, Explorer, legal in Modern and Historic.
Makes sense.
Seems perfectly reasonable.
Yep.
So yeah, so that is a card that will probably float around Historic and do unfun things.
Mm-hmm. Moving on to green, we get Cryptolith Right. It's a throwback. 1 and a green for an enchantment. Creatures you control have tap, add 1 mana of any color.
Like that was a Pro Tour deck, right? Like it did well.
Yep. That was a deck at one point.
Yeah.
Not that it still is, but I'm sure this card will see some play.
Yeah, it'll do something.
Yep.
It's so hard though, because like there's so many cards now that are like both like the engine and the enabler.
Right.
Or like they're both halves of the like engine in one card.
Yeah.
Because what is Catilda?
Oh yeah.
All your humans tap for mana. And she's also a human.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm a mana dork and make all your other things mana dorks. And it's like, oh, okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Like, I used to have to play an individual card and then hope to draw a creature. And now it's just like, nope. You can collect a company into your crypto flight rights now.
Yep, you get it all.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate this. Next up, this is so funny that we have the Greasefang package.
Mm-hmm.
So there are like 2 like main versions of Greasefang.
Mm-hmm.
And they both rely on cards from this block. So you have the Eldritch Evolution deck. So Eldritch Evolution is 1 green for a sorcery. Is additional cost. You sack a creature.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can search your deck for a creature card, mana value, X+2 of this, where X is the sacrificed creature's mana value. So up to X+2.
Yep.
So this gives you extra copies of Greasefang.
Yep.
And so in those decks, you play Citrus Supplier, Satyr Wayfinder. You play just more creatures.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, because you can sack your Citrus Supplier, mill your Parhylia, and go get a Greasy Boy.
Yeah. And then there is Traverse the Ovenwald and Vessel of Decency, which I'm gonna have to bring up because I think I remember them, but I don't want to send the people in the wrong direction here. So Traverse is a green for a sorcery that looking that lets you search your deck for a basic land, put it in your hand, and then shuffle. So it is Lay of the Land.
Yep. Unless you have
But
Delirium.
if you have Delirium, which we haven't even brought up to this point, Delirium is if you have 4 or more card types among cards in your graveyard. Instead, search your library for a creature or a land, reveal it, and put it into your hand. So this lets you search for your Greasy Boy.
Mm-hmm. And then Vessel is a enchantment for a single green, and you can pay 1 and a green and sacrifice it to reveal the top 4 cards of your library. You may put an artifact, creature, enchantment, land, or planeswalker card from among them into your hand and the rest in your graveyard.
Probably creature or land.
Yep. But it puts an enchantment in your graveyard to enable Delirium and mills you, which you want to be doing anyway.
Which also helps you get Delirium.
Yep.
So it turns on your what's it called? So you can like turn 1 Vessel, turn 2 activate it, and then turn 3 like do something else, Traverse, go get your Greasefang.
Yeah.
Turn 4 bring the beats in the air.
Yep.
So that was the Pro Tour version of the deck, was Traverse plus Vessel.
Mm-hmm.
But I've also seen a bunch of the Eldritch Evolution versions do well on arena, in recent what are they called? Recent leagues and challenges.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, like so whichever flavor of Greasefang you want, you get to build now.
Congratulations.
Which is, now we have another like kind of full Pioneer deck on Arena.
Right.
Because a lot of times we've had to play like 80% of a Pioneer deck.
Right.
And it's like, no, now you get the whole thing.
The whole thing. So the next card is not part of a Pioneer deck. It's more just a card I'm excited to have on Arena.
Okay, that's fine. This is your podcast.
Brings back fond memories. This is Fevered Visions. 1 blue-red for an enchantment. At the beginning of each player's end step, that player draws a card. If the player is your opponent and have 4 or more cards in hand, Fevered Visions deals 2 damage to that player.
You just fill up their hand and hurt them for it.
Yep. Also usually plays like tempo-y spells or taxi spells to make cards get stuck in their hand, like not Remand, but things like Remand, Unsubstantiate, or like Elder Deep Fiend, tap their lands, that kind of stuff.
I mean, think about there's Fading Hope now.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
And there's Brazen Borrower.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Brazen Borrower is definitely what this deck wants.
Like, you just basically aren't in the business of playing like red removal.
Right.
You're just like, you play a little bit, but you're like, bounce your thing, bounce your permanent, bounce your thing, and just keep their hand full.
Yeah.
Because you're filling your hand with Fevered Visions and you're emptying your hand because you're bouncing all of their stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only issue, the only hurdle is that so many things now have good enter the battlefield abilities.
Right.
Now, granted, if it draws them a card, it's just playing into your hand. I had another card popped into my head. I was like, oh, Narset's Reversal.
Oh yeah, that's good too.
Kind of Remand.
Yep.
Like put it back in your hand and I'll cast it.
Yep.
Yeah, so no, this can be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Grimflare.
Yeah, I don't think this card's ever going to do anything, but it's a card that we're getting, so.
I unfortunately bought some when the set came out because at the time that Grimflare came out, Wizards had not printed a bad Mythic 2-drop.
Right.
And this was kind of where they printed a bad Mythic 2-drop.
Well, I mean, to be fair, it saw some play for a while.
Yeah, like I saw play in Modern and stuff.
Yeah.
But now it says Surveil 3. Weird.
Oh, that is weird. So yeah, Grimflayer is black-green for a 2/2 with trample. When it deals combat damage to a player, Surveil 3. And then if you have Delirium, it gets +2/+2.
Mm-hmm. So it can just be a big boy.
Yeah, but it also like can fill your yard.
And it also gives you selection. It does a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
This little 2/2 for 2 does a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, it's just hard in like Modern Magic now.
Right. Doesn't do anything when it ETBs.
Yeah.
Useless.
Useless. So, Nahiri the Harbinger. This card's good.
Mm-hmm.
So 2 red white for a 4 loyalty planeswalker. +2, you may discard a card if you do draw a card.
Mm-hmm.
-2, exile target enchantment, tapped artifact, or tapped creature.
It's a weird thing, but okay.
Weird thing or okay. And then 8, search your library for an artifact or creature, put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle. It gains haste, return it to your hand to be the next end step. Now, this used to get Emrakul the Aeon's Torn.
Right.
We will not have that luxury. But can I introduce you to a certain 7/7 angel?
Oh, yeah.
That draws you a crap ton of cards when it comes into play?
Yeah.
Right?
Seems good.
This also will, right? The +2 lets you discard the bad ones that are in your hand.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Imagine like you start the game by like doing whatever on turn 1 and turn 2, and then going like Fable into Nahiri. You have seen so many cards at the end of your 4th turn that you have to have your reanimation spell in your hand.
Right.
Right? And like we have some like non-embarrassing red reanimation spells.
Mm-hmm.
Not red, I'm sorry, white. Like Invoke.
Yep.
And then there's a thing that brings back enchantments and artifacts.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've played against someone who has like repair and recharged and omniscience.
Oh, that's pretty gross.
Yeah. And Invoke also will get you back at omniscience or whatever.
Yep.
So like this can kind of like feed a curve of like turn 5, I am doing something silly.
Yep.
Let's go. So
yeah, I hadn't thought about it with Atraxa.
Yeah, Atraxa's reached the level of you have to think about everything with Atraxa now. It's weird. And then our favorites, Prized Amalgam.
Yeah, all the graveyard shenanigans. The Prized Amalgam is 1 blue-black for a 3/3, and whenever a creature enters the battlefield, if it entered from your graveyard, or you cast it from your graveyard, return Prized Amalgam from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped at the beginning of the next end step. This was the payoff for Dredge.
Mm-hmm.
And also triggers off of like now it triggers off all the escape stuff, like if you're Urowing or Cruxaing or whatever you're doing. It does all that stuff too.
Whatever inging you're doing, it
whatever
does.
inging you're doing. We also have that the card from Storm Herald, the 2 and a black, bring things back from the graveyard. Call
the Death Dweller.
Yeah, that's the one. Yep.
Yeah. And if you're Esper, you also have brought back or can't stay away. I'm sorry.
Yep.
So yeah, there's a lot of things.
All the connive stuff to dump them in your graveyard.
Mm-hmm. And then we have Spell Queller,
which we kind of alluded to earlier.
Yeah, so it's 1 blue-white for a flash flying 2/3. And when it enters the battlefield, exile target spell with mana value 4 or less. When it leaves the battlefield, the exiled
They can cast it.
The exiled card's owner may cast that card without paying its mana cost. There we go. Gosh. Yep. So you get to eat a spell, and then it stays eaten until the thing dies.
Yeah.
And then it gets cast.
Yeah, so it's a tempo play, but
it is. I mean, but again, if you win the game,
right,
it was a hard counter.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're playing and you want your spell cast, you have to let your spell get eaten before you kill it.
Yes.
So if the trigger's on the stack, you have to let the trigger resolve. I saw someone miss top 8 of an SCG because his opponent spell quellered him, and in response to the trigger, he killed the spell queller.
Mm-hmm.
So the cast trigger went on the stack.
But it wasn't exiled, so you couldn't cast it.
It wasn't exiled yet, so his card just went away. Like, he played Escape Shift.
Yeah.
And Escape Shift got eaten, and they bolted the spell queller, and it was like, yeah, no, you don't get your spell back.
Right.
And the guy was like, oh, okay, and then like lost. And it's like, well, that sucks because he had it covered.
Right.
You know, it's particularly annoying because this is the old templating where there are 2 separate triggers.
It's also weird because this was like after they changed to the new templating.
Yeah, so Fiend Hunter is in the set of cards.
Yeah.
And so like if someone plays a Brutal Cathar and then you bolt it, your creature kind of doesn't go away.
Right. It just stays there.
If you play a Fiend Hunter and the trigger goes on the stack and you bolt it,
gone forever.
Your card goes away forever.
Right.
It's weird. So just be aware of that. So this is the last piece that Blue-White Spirits was missing.
Mm-hmm.
And it also now has Seachrome Coast.
Yes.
And the Blue-White Henge. And Adakar Waste.
Yep.
So it kind of has all the pieces, and like the blue-white land, the slow land.
Oh yeah.
So like it just has all the mana that you can need to make blue and white work. So like this was the last card it needed.
Yep.
So in addition to mono blue, there'll also be blue-white, and some people like blue-white better, some people like mono blue better. But annoying spirit decks will be a thing.
Get ready.
Get ready. Be prepared.
Yep. And to round out our list here, we have 2 colorless cards. The first I alluded to earlier with Elder Deep Fiend, a weird card with a weird mechanic. It's 8 generic mana to cast for a 5/6 with flash, and it has Emerge 5 blue. So the way Emerge works is when you cast it, you sacrifice a creature, and the Emerge cost is reduced by that creature's mana value. So
just the generic mana is reduced, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
So if I sacrifice a 3-drop, Elder Deep Fiend is 2 blue.
Yes.
And then when you cast this spell, tap up to 4 target permanents. So
it's not when it enters the battlefield, it's when it's cast.
Yeah, cast trigger. The play pattern is to flash this out in your opponent's upkeep and tap their lands down usually, but
so this is for Anthony. I have effects in your upkeep.
Yes.
It's how you do it in paper.
I have effects in your upkeep.
And past turn, I have effects in your upkeep, and then you just tap their lands in their upkeep.
Yep.
And you have a 5/6. It is glorious.
I got a question for you.
Okay.
When you're playing Arena, do you ever put a random stop on your opponent's upkeep just to keep them on their toes?
I have, but not often.
Okay. Just checking. I've done it once or twice.
Yeah, I have. Like, and then like I'm gonna make them think like I got something here, and then I'm gonna pass.
Yep. Or put a stop on their draw step.
In case I have Vendilion Click.
Yeah.
In case it's 2010, and I have Vendilion Click.
Yeah.
And then I added Emrakul the Promised End. 13 mana for a 13/13. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each type among cards in your graveyard. When you cast the spell, you gain control of target opponent during that player's next turn. After that turn, that player takes an extra turn. Has flying, trample, protection from instants. So, this was the only thing to do in standard
This
for a
is
bit.
this is also going to be a better card in 4 months, 2 months than it
When
has ever
battle,
been. Yeah.
we have an extra type.
Yep.
Yes. There was a time in the last 6 months to a year that this was a in elementals in modern.
Hmm.
This was a sideboard card because that deck can generate so much mana
It just didn't matter.
that 13 is not a big deal, and you're just like bonk.
Yeah.
And so, for those of you who have never been mind slavered before, um, this text, while it is not just win the game,
Yeah. It's usually pretty close.
it's pretty close as long as you, as the person who is controlling your opponent's turn, is smart enough to figure out how to ruin their life.
Yeah,
Right? Like,
and
that's what
like
it
it's
comes
not
down
hard to
to.
figure that out either. Use their removal spells to kill their own stuff, make bad attacks, blah 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 blah.
Yeah, like, at the worst case, Emrakul always just kills their best creature.
Yeah.
Unless it has, like, Death Touch or Indestructible or something, right? It's just like, you play Emrakul, you take over their turn, you attack their creature into your Emrakul, and you eat it.
Yep. There's also
And
like
then,
fail to find shenanigans.
yeah, like, oh, I'll crack your Fabled Passage and not find a land.
Yeah. Or your
But,
Fable the Mirror Breaker goes off and you discard the 2 best cards.
yeah. But, like, on sometimes you have to make sure, like, if you have a Fabled Passage and your opponent casts an Emrakul, you search with your Fabled Passage.
Right.
Right? You don't give them that opportunity. So, like, when it's on the stack, you're on damage control.
Yeah.
Also, this is a cast trigger.
It is.
This is going to happen.
Unless
Right?
you
Like,
like
stifle
some
it.
yeah. We
Um,
have like disallow on Arena, right?
we do. They didn't give us the card that, like, countered and exiled all triggers on the stack.
Yeah.
From this set, from this block. Uh, but like, you could definitely, if you wanted to do something like, fun and not super competitive, you could spin the wheel with oh gosh, Aetherworks Marvel.
Mhm.
This has a ton of that has a ton of hits now.
Yep.
Lilamok, Emrakul, Ugin.
Yeah. I mean, it's nice because Marvel casts, so you get the cast triggers.
Yeah, exactly. You get all the cash triggers, so you get to do the big thing.
Yep.
I know we're almost done, but I wanted to point out, um, the rare lands are now all in uncommon.
Are they really? Oh yeah.
So, Choked
Crazy.
Estuary, Foreboding Ruins, Fortified Village, Game Trail, and Highland Lake. No, sorry, and Port Town. I'm
Port Town,
sorry,
yeah.
are all uncommons now,
Wild.
and they didn't lower the rarity of the uncommon lands from the set.
That's weird.
Well, I guess the uncommon lands give you the other color.
Yeah.
So effectively, you now have a full
10
set of
duels.
10 uncommon duels.
Yeah.
Um,
Still
and
weird.
for those of you that are playing in 2016, I'd like to point out that what I'm going to do is the first time we have mentioned Avacyn.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Avacyn has not seen play since Standard, I don't think.
I don't think so.
Someone was talking about it was like an old, maybe it's like Chris Piccolo. Like, this is years ago.
Mhm.
Talking about how he hadn't played in a while and he went to some sealed tournament. And he's like, yeah, I lost to this big flash. It might not have been Pakula, but it was someone like that. I lost to this big 5-mana flash 4/4 angel that like they had to unroll a register tape to list all the things that it did on it.
Yeah.
And that's just stuck with me that like Avacyn got flashed in and then you had to like unroll the CVS receipt to read all of the text. And it's quaint now because it's not that much text.
Right.
Compared to current cards. But the card that ran standard for its entire time in standard, 3 white for a flash 4/4 flying vigilance. When it enters the battlefield, creatures you control gain indestructible. And then when a non-angel creature you control dies, transform Archangel Avacyn at the beginning of the next upkeep. And she got very angry and became a 6/5 flying, and it was red.
Mm-hmm.
And then she would deal 3 damage to each other creature and opponent. That card like ran standard.
Oh yeah, backbreaking.
Yeah, like unbeatable. Like like you would just like. So if you've played now and you're like, oh, they have 4 mana, I don't want to attack into a Wandering Emperor. This was like, oh, they have 5 mana, I don't want to attack into
Avacyn.
Losing my best creature and then all my other stuff because all other things are indestructible.
Yeah.
So, a different time. The card still reads powerful, but
like, will likely not do much though.
Yeah, that is not what white decks are about.
Yep.
So with all of that, I think we have a show. So, if you want to reach out to us on social media, say hi, give us some show ideas, any of that stuff. Check out all those links, all that social media stuff is in the description.
Yeah, hit us up. If you're looking to support the show, there's 2 ways you can do it. The first is with our TCG player affiliate link, tcg.casualtryhardmtg.com. Buy whatever you're going to buy as far as Magic goes from TCG player after following that link, and you will automatically support the show. TCG player will give us a percentage of your order to help keep the lights on, so to speak. If you want to support us more directly, head on over to patreon.com/CasualTryHardMTG. Sign up, chip a couple bucks in, however much you think we're worth for the enjoyment that we give you every week for a little over 4 years now.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah. Patrons get access to our show notes. They get access to our pre-show, so they get a little bit more content every week. And you get put on my mailing list for when I have cool stuff to send out to you guys roughly every other month. I got them together, but I got to print the letter before I can mail them out. So they'll be coming soon. Thanks, patrons. You're the best.
You had a rough weekend. So
I did have a rough weekend.
So no problem. Totally understand.
Yeah.
All right. And when you go to YouTube, soon there will be these cards getting played on the limited stuff.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, that to look forward to.
That's exciting.
So with all that, we'll catch you on the internet.